Yeah, okay. I'm going to reconvene the commission meeting. Done, whatever. I'll reconvene now. No, I just want to...
Yeah, I'll sit over here.
I think we have one on vacation and we're missing one. Right? Is that it?
Open the remark. Some aren't here yet?
I think we have one's on vacation and one's not here.
Where'd our tire guy go?
He's not here. Anybody know if he's coming?
There's the truck. That's a hopeful sign right there.
Someone pulling in.
Oh, groceries.
Oh. Dude.
Can't call Steve a chicken.
Let's see, I started at 4:30 this morning, but right down on here. I went to Manhattan.
Don't forget to put your name so that we can get you right for it. Okay.
Fuel, I don't know, gas.
That's your machine. Map on the county, so you got to mark.
Put it on the table.
Yeah, just sit up wherever you want to sit.
Yeah, we got about 1/4 inch this morning, and about, what did I get? I got 1:10 Sunday, well, 1,600 Sunday morning, Sunday night 1,500, so 1:10 Sunday, and then I have 265 on Wednesday night or Tuesday, so I've had about 4 inches since Wednesday. How about you?
Same thing.
Yeah.
He used to have a heat out here.
Well, it makes it kind of dirty, but that potting shop over there in Sylvan, they burn that used oil.
Have you guys been able to go out on the road to do anything, or is it too
We
much?
sell it.
Yeah, like getting ready for the patch job.
We stockpiled in, and then I got a week tomorrow. Kept that to Wednesday. And then Wednesday we'll go back and hay stuff.
Yeah.
Well, it's sort of like oil, sort of like tires. There's a lot of BTUs in it. Too bad we can't use tires. They make, when you burn a tire, it's pretty hot. You take a truck tire, and you got
You have all your areas laid out, determined where to go.
right here in town. And then,
Is that the same material that you would use to
400 tires
seal? Just your patch bar?
What I recommend you guys do is turn around and replace. The line's going to come right. Okay.
You got to get a lot of rock and force back there.
I got some of that. Let's go. Get a good line up here.
Oh, come on, you guys.
Yeah. Buffet.
She'll have a long sleeve shirt on.
Give her the old college try.
I'm working on a number now. You tell me that oh, you're going to break that pipe. Oh, good.
I'm working on our third for the August 31st.
Oh, yeah. Well, you know, not after you asked, never asked you by the thing that you wrote. I said, I would. Yeah, we by the third. I started shoot scratch off. Jerry Stephens, yeah. He's probably good. I know. Probably carry
call you, Randy.
Well,
You'll be last. I'll be last.
well, you go ahead.
No, I'm Paul. I didn't come. I didn't come. I didn't even know they had it.
Well, we wanted it. We just want to talk. How much?
My arms are long down here. Yeah, but this is. We got something over half the
Any left?
Where does chicken come from?
Last night, that's why I was here. You eat my cooking, you just go straight to the funeral. Save time.
Promote the business. I guess.
Yeah, I'm thinking that. Slide around.
I was burned out. You quite like it. I could have done that.
Barely. They kept feeding me beer. Nine people standing. Everybody put a ball in the hat and we'll do out 3 minutes, 3 work days.
Did you tell Bill that you wanted to pick up?
Yeah.
Somebody's telling me she should have. People, I tell you what.
They do eat.
Did you call me?
They do.
I brought them and I went over and
Oh, it's right here.
they probably didn't have to do the work again.
Yeah, the shot there. I told you.
I just didn't think about it.
Yeah, I did think about it. That's what screwed up.
Somebody has all on the computer. I can go right up here. Does anybody need a bottle of water? Cold water?
My teeth.
Okay. Alright. Take this, y'all. A bottle of water.
I was wondering when you was gonna find a sea Howard.
Well, Jim wasn't going to sit down here. I was going to sit down.
You may as well, shit.
I can eat pretty fast and I'll be up so you can have my seat again.
Yeah, get seconds, huh?
Anybody raising any watermelons around the county?
Not that I know of. The only one I knew that did was Wally. Wally Lloyd. I don't think Wally brought any in this year. Haven't seen anything. I know last year we brought a bunch of cantaloupe. Tomato.
Cucumber,
Yeah.
zucchini.
Yeah.
A lot of cucumber and cantaloupe.
Mm-hmm.
Only got half of
Yours was the afternoon.
afraid you did, Howard. Well, in the last week, how much? About last Wednesday or Thursday, I had like 265. Yeah. I had 265. Guys east of me, Rocky Hill Road, had 4 inches. So they caught more down over by between me and Beverly, and that's 4 inches. I had 265. Then I had 1.10 inch. Then another 1/4 inch last time. I had like 4 inches.
Oh, man.
And then with the beans and Milo and corn. The safest. Because a week ago it was getting started to dry out.
Gotta eat that. You're not even trying.
Oh, I'm done.
Like beef, right?
You got lots more stuff over here. You guys need to eat this.
All the guys in the breed, you got a bunch of old men that don't eat that much.
Yeah,
You gotta feed all them dead people. What you do with everybody's
All right, that chicken isn't gone yet. Now let me explain what's going on here today. Besides me trying to raise your cholesterol and stuff for my other business, it turns out that you guys rarely if ever here, you did a good job and we like what you're doing and please do it some more. What I want to do, County Commissioners, this is the commission to you, is to make sure that you understand that we really do appreciate what you're doing. And we thank you for all the work you're doing. All right? Have you ever heard that in a while? No. In my background, in the military, how many of you guys been in the military? Lots of you? One of the things that we find out keeps the morale up is every once in a while you take a day off and you do this and you get to know each other. It's called an organization day. And we are going to be doing this at least once a year and hopefully more than that on the county's time where you take a half a day off or a day off and come in and visit with each other. How many of you guys get a chance to sit down and talk to each other about what's going on? Not very many. We think that's important for the morale and the welfare, and it's also important to get things done. That's why you're in here, all right? Any questions? Now, all that chicken's got to go. They won't take it back. We glued the feathers back on and tried, but it doesn't work that well. And by the way, we burned all those chicken feathers because I don't want you heating up a bucket of tar and a bunch of chicken feathers either. Madam Chair, would you care to...
Yeah, I have 2 things I wanted to discuss. The first is we're doing some interviews today, and we brought in some note cards, and I just grabbed your pens off here that wanted some input on what you think we need to ask or what kind of direction you'd like to see the department go as we look to get a new department head. I'd like you to just kind of jot it down. It can be anonymous. You don't have to sign it. You can sign it or whatever. But I wanted to give you the chance to just say what you're thinking as far as maybe the direction in which you want to see the leadership go, or something that you want the candidate to know prior to him or her. We have no females applying, thank goodness, but just what you may want that person to know, or a thought that you may want to share with them through us. I think that is important. Also, if you just had a note that you wanted to settle in as far as anything pertaining to your job or what you think the commission needs to know, you can do it that way. We can have an open discussion about it. That's kind of why we're here, to get some of your input. And I will start that off by asking a question that I'm still really confused about. And when I asked to have a department meeting a couple years back, the feedback that I got from the administration at the time is that, can all you blade guys raise your hands so I can just see what the blade... Okay. I was told that each blade operator is responsible for his own route, period. It's about 100 miles. All the signs, all the culverts, anything that needs done there, where the gravel needs to go, what road needs reshaped, you name it. That's what I've been told in the past. But at the same time, I'm getting the feedback that when you want gravel or when you need a culvert or something like that is requested, it's not happening. So could you give me some input on that? What is the consensus, or who is responsible?
Is in charge of that. Until it comes to a project where you need to go to road supervisor, you talk about the project, he goes back and lines up the personnel in order to get the job and go do the job.
And on the trucking crew side, we were just told where to haul gravel. Either Bob or Michael. They would say you're going to haul gravel out of this pit to this mile. Basically what it's supposed to be done. And through a road bond. He's in charge. We just report what we see. He takes it from there to line out the people we need, or he needs, to go out and do the job. And just do it on a rotation, because not one route can have everybody all the time. Off the subject a little on that now, though, we're getting down to where we don't even have gravel kind of at the ends of the count. So you're hauling a long ways with some. Not all.
Because of what pit is coming.
We don't have pits available. It flows. It's kind of put us in a hauling predicament. Not it can't be done. It's just longer hauling.
You see that, like I've been told, or we talked before about, like it seems like a lot of our pits have not too good a quality gravel anymore, and a lot of clay stuff, and there were a lot of complaints this last spring and winter because you guys putting out the gravel, that's all you got to deal with. Then we'd have clay and a lot of complaints. Do we have, do you think, more pits which have better quality gravel, or are almost all our pits down to having a bad type of a...
No, Randy, we have one that doesn't have good gravel.
Do we?
We have one good one, a real good one, but we have a problem with it.
Okay.
The crossing. We put it in, 3 weeks ago? It's washed out again today. Wolf Creek. Very good pit, but you spend more time putting the crossing in than you do getting gravel.
Because it's washed out from the weather.
Yep. It's on Wolf Creek.
Also, I watched your meeting on what was brought up about the rock. It's an old quarry. We haven't pushed these rock up, not all of them. And there's rocks everywhere. And it's an old quarry is what it is. You go through this old quarry to get to our pit.
Okay.
So it's both quartzite, sand ore. They done all the riprap for Lake Wilson and Glen Elder out of there.
But
And they
that's
got all
part
that.
of the area that we have leased, right?
I think we have the whole thing leased, if I understood Gene right.
Okay.
But it's not like we got to push this
We do have to take, like we took a backhoe, when we make the crossing, we always use material from right there.
Okay. So it would be, you're saying it'd be beneficial for us to find out how much we want from
right.
there and
It
buy
would
it out of
certainly be
there.
worth talking to him about.
Okay.
I don't think clear out of line on it.
No,
or anything.
no.
Yeah.
We do have grounding up pits that's not bad.
Yeah.
That Gebhardt pit, I don't think it's that bad.
Well,
Some people don't
I
like
have
the
two
way
pits.
it's right. I don't know.
Are they good or
They're pretty good.
Pretty
ground.
good. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I was wondering because I used to be substitute mail command, and you
Yeah.
guys probably know that. And I would go mostly southeast out here, and a lot of that 300th road out there, man. When it rained like this year, the clay would be clay and that. And I know that's a lot of our pits come from that. Same way up north, Union Drive, you have complaints the last couple months, obviously, coming out of those pits. And I'm just saying, when we know it's going to be kind of that type of material, what we've been trying to say, well, put some sand with it from the sand pit, maybe some roadstone rock, because we go, you're going to probably need that. Now, I don't know who, obviously, do you guys have say-so like that when you're doing that, or that would be up to the management?
Yeah.
Management did, didn't they?
I just want to say something here too that
Yeah.
was happening here lately. That pit up there, the Zacco pit, it was good gravel for a while, but we were hauling out of it as we were pushing up. You can't do that because you don't get a blend on the material. So what are you doing? You're sitting there with a bunch of no good clay that could have been blended in.
Okay.
The same way with this pit we're using out here now. That we're hauling out while we're pushing, and you can't do that, or you're going to end up with the same dang thing.
Okay.
That's my
You
opinion.
think if we blended better?
You have to. You have to push it up and stay away from it until it's all pushed up.
So maybe the people blending it should maybe we try to do that a little better. Is that instruction to do that? Or?
Well, yeah, I mean, Gary's pushed, I've pushed, and we kind of see what's going on. I think Sheldon will learn it. It's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
But you got to stay away from it while we're pushing it up. You can't be hauling out. We push up, say, clay. You take it out, you got clay on your road.
Yeah.
You may have a bunch of pea gravel back here, but you ain't got it up there yet. And see, that's what I'm getting at.
As he loads it.
Right.
The blade
I
man
do
will
too.
mix it to a certain extent. Craig can go around the pile, kind of mix as he loads.
Okay.
Yeah,
But,
I
but
usually
you
go
can't do it when you're coming out of water.
No.
You just,
Right.
yeah.
And we've had this crazy weather all winter and spring with mud and snow and ice and crap. You know, it's been terrible for all you
It's
guys.
not ever going to change up there because they were saying the water table is there.
It is.
There's nothing.
That water table will dry up at half before. I mean, you got a detention pond right up above. If that thing's dry, that'll dry. But if it's full, it'll never dry out.
So back to the question I had earlier. So you had kind of charge of this little deal on bison where we were doing. Who worked on that with you? Okay. So did you have did you put new culverts in?
They cleaned them out. I think the culverts were fine. They just needed cleaned out because they were silted in. What it looks like. I mean, it looks fine now.
So who cleaned them out?
This bridge guy.
The bridge crew came and cleaned out the culverts that were there, and they did that first, and then
We come in and cut the ditch, basically reshaping the road where the water run down the ditch down instead of down the shoulder of the road.
Now there's a situation where clay come in handy.
Yeah, we need clay. Some clay.
We
It's
have to
not
have
too
a
much.
base.
Because it was just, you went through a silica hill, so you used powder about 2 foot. So we put that sticky stuff in there as a binder, and that helped me graveled over.
Yeah.
And it seemed
And
done
what,
the job.
what we need is that blend between clay, sand, and rock, right?
yeah, I haven't been over there. They said it looks good, so
Well,
thank
you
you.
got lucky it didn't rain.
That's another good
Slow.
pit, the last pit, but we're done there. When that gravel's gone, it's done.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's all good gravel.
It is really
It
good.
really is. There's anything left.
it's gone.
There's probably a mile's worth.
Oh, there's a little there yet, but I mean,
I think there's probably enough to do a mile. That's what I would guess.
Once you pass stages, we got a spot close to utilize that.
So are any of you blade guys still waiting on a project to be done that you've talked about in the past that hasn't been addressed yet?
Johnny still has flood stuff, I think.
I think Dave Linder does too.
Yeah.
Some dirt.
Other than that, not very much.
I'm just sending the number.
They're just saying that we have to clean on bridges, some old arches and stuff, but, it's got something that be done with it. They come in and do it, or contract it out, so contract it out.
Well, I was told we used to in the past, I don't know how long it's been, but do about 2 bridges a year of stone. And we haven't done any in quite a while. And I've been asking to get some bids to get some of those. I know in the water's high, that's a problem, but. Well, and some repair. I know some of them, like the sidewalls fall off the top, and then you got the wing walls that are eroding. And I know maybe some of that dirt work falls on us, but eventually, whatever stonemason is going to do the work is going to be responsible for the.
A lot of concrete work on some of those. Replace the limestone or help hold it in there. We just kind of try to come up with the best way we can to fix it the cheapest way we can.
And my only concern with some of that is the limestone. They say that you want your mortar to deteriorate so that the stone doesn't. So when you use concrete, you're actually putting more pressure on the stone because it's deteriorating if the concrete holds. Unless you're doing, I know what you're saying, like you can base up the bottom with concrete so that just the water is against that. But some of these, I think, are at the point where if we don't do them now, it's going to be a replacement job instead of a patch job. And so I'd like to see that happen. And I know that doesn't really have anything to do with you guys because it's going to be subbed out. But those are some of the things that I'm looking at. What do you have for suggestions as far as what needs to be a priority work-wise?
Secondary would be the priority, I think.
I don't know why an engineer couldn't tell you a lot of these bridges that are small, why a big tube wouldn't go in there.
That's what they're working on. Some of it.
That's what I mean.
Work on some, coming up with the flow and whether we can put a tube in where a box bridge is.
With ends on it, where you're inbound side, you have an end to hold it. I don't know why that wouldn't be quite a little cheaper than anything else.
You mentioned something about bridges. Read the paper yesterday. The federal government and the state government both have allocated a ton of money to come down to the counties to fix some of our small bridges. So we probably ought to figure out a priority list, and whoever writes the grants needs to get that put together, and let's get in there and get a whole bunch of this money. Me and Tanner have actually talked about some of those smaller bridges. There is a grant of some sort for not your bigger bridges, but your smaller ones. And we kind of went through some of the ones that were on our need to fix now list, and what ones we thought we could fix, and what ones maybe we could have them fix.
I think that was in the plan when Michael was still here, all of that.
Well, now we've got the money. Let's get it
I'm
in
just
front of
saying, that
whoever
was
got the
it.
checkbook.
And I do believe that Michael was the one who had written some of those grants, I think.
Yeah. But this is a whole new pot of money just coming
No,
down
I'm
the road.
just saying,
Yeah,
grants in the past.
so we have all that stuff handy, right? Pretty much built, priority, what you'd like to have.
Well, Tanner brought it to us, Jim, a week or two ago, with what he had we wanted us to make a decision on some bridges he wanted us to do. So he has a kind of a priority list on that.
We need
I
to
think
clean
you were
that up
gone.
because if that
Yeah,
I think you
I
were.
asked him to make us a spreadsheet
And he
so that we
did.
knew what our options were because it seems like every time we talk about a bridge, we're just going to mow it down and build a steel.
And he did. You were.
Was that not part of what he gave you the last time you see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We've been working on that for several months though.
But he gave us that list. Alexis, you were, I think, in Pennsylvania.
Let's get it out and look at it.
Documentation.
Get it ready to go for whoever's going to ask for that money. Now that we got a pocket full of money coming from the feds and the state, let's use it.
You guys got any other issues, questions, complaints? Put them on the table now, because that's why we're here.
We need to get some gravel on this low road down here. I believe we talked to you about that.
Yeah.
The one that goes out by the dehydrating plant out there, the low road where everybody takes their limbs out that way to go to the
When they just fix the bridge.
what's that?
Yeah. The dump road.
Yeah, the dump road out there.
I just pulled that road.
They just pull the ditches and
it's the easy way to get to my route, and everybody can use it to get out instead of taking the highway.
And you were saying that's about a mile and a
You
half.
mean you want to like beef up the road? Is that
Gravel.
It's already graded.
Yeah.
It's ready to go. All we need to do
Yeah,
is
we
start
pulled the
hauling.
ditches.
So where's the truck?
It's a mile and a half.
Yeah, you got blacktop pretty much out to the old bases, and then always
Yeah.
fix it up.
And there's a little bridge there that needs to be fixed too. It's got to give it a
Election. Yeah, you think it was me and Kerry again.
Larry's been driving too. Right? That's what I thought. Okay, he's over there. Okay, so let's talk equipment. No, seriously though.
That's serious. Laugh.
No,
It is a joke.
Well, okay, it's not something that can be fixed overnight.
No.
But where are our priorities on that from you guys, not from
Mower
one
tractors.
particular angle?
Mower tractor's pretty sucky.
Yeah,
And trucks.
We got
You got some trucks that ain't very good.
the mower John Deere mowers are in terrible shape.
That are on the routes.
When they make mowers right nowadays, they can mow one pass instead of double pass with a hunk of shit. That's what it is.
Well, and are you talking like an attachment to the grader?
No, to the tractor itself.
flail mower.
A flail mower, and that's what you use for in rough terrain, is a flail mower.
Yeah.
Not a brush hog that you have maintenance like crazy.
Bush hog.
Yeah.
The last couple of years, and I was looking them up the other day, just seeing what.
And that's what they're made for, is rough terrain.
About
Like rocks and crap,
Yeah.
trees. And,
Really?
Yes. They're
Do
very
they make those?
inexpensive to maintain.
No. But
You'll have to have-
And you can mow 6 foot down in the ditch instead of a 2-foot swath that you have to come back and hit again.
Who's doing the maintenance on those? Do you bring those tractors in here?
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they're like
They're old.
they're old, worn out. They are.
The tractors themselves.
Tractors and
So
mowers.
I'm saying, what are the options to omit the tractors from the whole thing and get an attachment to it? Someone was bringing this up to me, that you can buy attachments to your blade, like a mower arm.
Never seen that before.
Yeah, I
I don't know about the mower attachment to the blade. I think that would be looking for a lot of wrecks. Well, I mean, you
So we
get
have 5
a
mower
mower out
tractors,
there
right?
in front.
Isn't there one for 2 routes?
We've got 2 that are fairly newer.
Okay, and 3 are
Yeah.
like hard to keep running, like that kind of a problem.
38 quarts every other day of hydraulic fluid. That's pretty expensive.
Bill County the other day, there's a pole behind, it's 2 sections. Looks like a lot of smarter idea than what we
A pull behind your blade?
No, behind your tractor.
Oh, okay.
That's the way them flail mowers are designed now.
Yeah, you can get your flail
So
mowers
you can
Yeah.
go behind blade.
Yeah, and it's actually got a telescope that you can go in and out. So like when you come to a sign, you go in and then you just pull it back in, go around and go. That way when you're in the ditch, you're mowing, and it looks good. It's not this 2-foot swath and you got stuff that high.
These flail mowers raise up to that vertically.
Yep. Plumb thickets, it smokes them out. Now it's got little cutter bits on chains, and that's what it can't get in the dirt because it's got a roller on the back. That's what hits the dirt first. And then it's on a drum.
So you're saying these our tractors are pretty well worn out?
Oh,
Really? So what would you recommend? Like
We got a
like a 40-20 style tractor? Or 40,
Well,
40, 40,
yes.
40? So
The
you would
New
like to
Holland, Randy, we got a New Holland and we have a,
get different stuff. But you need what, at least 120 or something like that?
that would be
That
better.
model that area. And then you would recommend like new, or could we get good used ones? Or
I don't know why you
roughly
couldn't.
says.
You can go use it.
I would
Yeah.
Well, the new ones, you get the warranty with them.
I tell you, anything would be better than what we got.
yeah.
How are you guys coordinating the mowing? Like, is one of the pair of you doing all the mowing, or are you swapping
No, we
off
swap.
your own route?
I mow, Ken
Or
mows.
groups like us, we get free time for mowing.
You'll mow when you're not driving? Okay.
During harvest.
Harvest, we try to mow.
Who was spraying?
Colton.
Colton was.
Okay.
I started out this year and then Colton was.
Okay. Okay.
Spray.
For noxious weed is what it is.
Well, I think
I did last.
Colt will help that.
That's what he said.
Can I bring up a subject that I think everybody is really on is two things. Wages and 10-hour days.
Is our quarter coming?
What?
Is it quarter? No, quarter ready. And then you want to keep 10-hour days, I presume, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in summer.
Or we'll work, we'll work it out.
Well, you get the winter when it gets cold and dark out.
Randy, you might think about this too. You need to attract younger workers. You need a perk. 4-day work week. Look at the companies around us that work that 4-day work week. I don't know how many schools. I just saw a list in the paper of schools going to 4-day schools now.
The other thing, Randy, is like I'm not a learner, and for me to go to my southeast corner takes 45 minutes. So if I
would be going to the North County line.
Exactly, yeah, that's right.
Same way graveling.
You burn 45 minutes going.
Hour and a half, 2 hours going back and forth.
Same way mowing. Same way graveling. You got extra 2 hours
It's worth
a day.
mowing. It's tractor don't run as
It
fast
just
as
makes a
other
lot of
So
difference.
how would you?
And it's long.
What would we do different to make that better?
Keep the 10 out.
Keep the 10
Keep
hours.
10. Oh yeah, I see. Well, I kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
You get there, you get a lot more done, and
I feel like we get more done.
Over and from 7 to 5:30. Not very long. Not very long.
That's good. Good. I'll give you my number and email me or text me with all these recommendations. I'm serious. Because you guys are doing this every day. We don't know what's best. You got some good ideas. We don't know that. And I mean, we're going to get a new director coming up. But I want you guys to go, obviously, then for him, but we want to know where you're coming from, too. And hopefully the new director will pass that on down. Because we want to respect, I want to, and I think we do too, all of us, Jim and Alexis. Respect you guys, and I know you may act like you get no respect, especially everybody yelled at you, all this weather, the road stuck, and all this and crap. And I know you got a tough job now. So I think we're here trying to help you, and so you guys give it to us. I think we may not agree with what you may do, but listen to it, okay? And go from there.
What about our rent service? Is it going to stay the same, or
Well, we just contracted with a broker, but we're going to have options. We'll probably have to get Blue Cross and Blue Cross, and they're going to try to, I think, keep our Lexus, and maybe Jim, you can tell me this too, on our broker for Blue Cross, hopefully be similar to what we have now.
You can't make it wrong.
We can't make.
Here's the thing with the state plan that we've been on, you have to sign a contract for 3 years. That contract doesn't do us any good because you're guaranteed to have an increase every 6 months. We've had one the whole time. So you sign a 3-year contract, and the only place winning is the state by guaranteeing your business. And some of the state rates are some of the highest because as counties leave the state pool, you're left with the unhealthier groups. And so actually your utilization of your health care is what determines the cost. So every time, this is not directed toward you, I'm just saying in general, for the whole entire population, every time you go to the emergency room for a scrape on your finger, it's increasing everybody's premium for their health care. So by using a broker, we're going to be able to at least shop around a little bit. And it doesn't mean we don't have Blue Cross Blue Shield as an option, but there are only 3 major networks in Kansas anyhow. It's Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, and United Health. So really, the options aren't going to be something that you've never heard of, but they're trying to mimic. Most of you are on Plan A. That's just kind of how our setup is with most of our employees. They're going to try to mimic the benefits that you have in that plan and hopefully just get us a better price, which saves you your portion and saves us our portion. And last year we paid 90% of all the plans. We haven't really discussed that too much. We do have to do a little bit of tweaking with our budget this year because we're pretty well restricted. There's a tax lid and cost of everything goes up. So I don't think that you're going to get a plan that you can't utilize or that you're unhappy with. It just sounds like change is possibly bad. But the best part about going with the broker is we can change every year, which your plans have changed every year anyhow. At least you have to re-sign up. But under the state, you're contracted for 3 years. this way, if Blue Cross Blue Shield doesn't give us a good deal or they try to hike our prices, we have options that come the end of the year. Because every time we do a budget, we have to look to that number as to what's going to be spent next year.
And also on the, some of you guys have a concern if you have an HSA, which is a health savings account, as part of your health insurance. You'll be able to keep that and roll it over. We asked this lady, Rhonda, who's running out. You'll be able to keep that. You ain't going to lose that. So that was one question. And
the downfall is that if you've been participating in the healthy living, I think that's what it's called. What is it called? Healthy living? That. If you've been participating in that, I'm sorry, but you lose your points. So they won't go over.
The lady that owns this broker is a small firm. She's got some experience. It's not like she's brand new. One of the things she requires, and it's in her contract, is she will have a mandatory meeting with every person in her plan, all of you, each year. So you have to sit down with her and you have to discuss your plan with her. So there's no more gossip or whatever, who does what. She will go over with each of you, and it's a mandatory meeting. You can't even get out of it. To tell you about the health plan. I think that's a key thing to understanding, because she can answer the questions directly. That's her business. So rather than listen to the gossip about, well, we're going to have to pay more for Blue Cross Blue Shield, none of that's true. That's all gossip. She'll tell you all about it. Her plan starts on the 1st of January. Sometime between now and the 1st, she'll be around and visit with each and every one of you.
I think we're still going to plan on the Columbus Day in-house. Yeah. You know how most of you have been there. That will still probably happen, but you might have an individual meeting with her outside of that day.
What we're hoping for is a change with this brokerage. We can still provide you guys with benefits, hopefully as good as what you got, but maybe save the county money because we'll have more competition through the broker. That's about why we did this.
We change plans every year in this point-based system like we've used in the past. And it'll always be the same scenario where the points will not go low.
Well, we're not going to change. You mean change brokerage?
But I think that was through the state.
Yeah.
So it was Blue Cross Blue Shield doing that in conjunction with the state. I don't know if that's still going to be part of the plan.
No, we can pay it for
Okay, but it would be starting over. So yeah, you're right. I mean, I know that is a downside, but we're hoping that the cost effectiveness of doing this saves you more than what you were saving with that. I know that is the downside, but ultimately I think it's better.
So as far as the insurance stuff, we're done with that, right?
Does anyone have any more questions on the
I have
insurance?
stuff to go over and I'm going to trash it. If not,
We're not doing the state plan anymore.
we don't know.
We're waiting. We hired the brokerage firm. Like they are hired, but she may come to us and say that the state plan is your best option still. So.
Well, can I know you're doing your meeting, but while we're just on that subject, because I had stuff to let them know anyway, there's a new Health Quest, all the stuff that you need to know, newsletter, little things going on. If we're still in that and we have to acquire points, whatever.
Anybody that has got an HSA wants to go ahead and get their points because that's where you're getting your premium back into your account. So anybody that's at HSA has 50 points, you get $500 back into your account off of what the county pays.
So still do that.
And there's stuff here in this packet. Okay, and so there's stuff here in this packet, and also during the week of September 23rd, open enrollment materials, they will post it. And if you want, I wrote down the websites, and if you want to, members can go, you can sign up, there's a form online, I can help you guys with it if you need, that then you will get printed materials sent to your home. So, I haven't had that. So, since we're all here,
Which that might not be.
right, which it might not be, but if it is, here's the stuff on it. Yeah.
What are other counties around here that about
About what?
insurance plans?
They vary.
I know of a couple of counties that have changed going off the state, and which they know they never would have, and then they're going back.
The problem with that is, like I was saying earlier, if a healthy group leaves the state pool, it increases everybody that's left there with their premium covering, because we're all covering each other in the pool. So if an unhealthy group leaves the state plan, it helps everyone. But do you see what I'm saying? It all depends on what the utilization is of your health insurance for that group, and then how that affects the pool itself. Now, when we go independently to Blue Cross Blue Shield, they're just going to look at our group, and we're basically, our utilization affects our rates internally, and we're not necessarily helping to hold down the cost of the other counties. So just like you said, some people have left and gone back. Some people have left and never gone back. The companies that we interviewed for the brokerage contract, a lot of them have counties, 10 to 12 counties apiece. So it kind of varies throughout the state what they're doing.
You know if the premiums are going to go up?
We're not sure yet. We already hired her, so she's going to get back to us with a comparison.
I, for one, kind of like the way it is. I guess I don't like to see change.
On the equipment side of it, on the bridge crew side, I know Mike asked about it before, but if we had a large excavator, Ottawa County has a driver for driving piling. We could really do a lot more if we had that larger excavator with that piling driver, because then we could do it all ourselves. We wouldn't have to pay a company to come in and drive it. Now, we might not be able to do such a bigger job, but, you know, your small boxes all the way up to, 20, 30 footers, we'd be able to do all that. We wouldn't have to pay somebody 10, 15 grand to come in and drive piling or so equipment side, I feel we could really use something, especially for the bridge. Then if we had a thumb with it, it would help out with moving trees and a lot. And I would imagine probably everybody here would probably agree on that.
We got 2 trucks in there, 2 max
12-yard trucks.
They're pretty much hard to stay on the road.
Well, they were bought and used from Ellis County when they purchased them, so
So we need someone on an equipment watch, because we don't need all of it brand new.
No.
But someone needs to be watching for good deals on some things that we could
Like if we're going to keep using that grid roller, we need to get rid of that tractor.
That's
Not everybody will run. I mean, but if you got a big enough tractor to handle that, then you can utilize the grid roller.
And it does work good, but that tractor's unsafe.
It's a 1946 model.
doesn't steer right.
So he's only got one brake.
Say 1950, what's the matter with it?
There was a guy that came in last year. I know him. And I can't tell you where the heck he works, but I can find out. He could or was actually selling trucks. And the company he works for actually, they do that 5-year plan as well. To where at least if you're trading them out, then, they're covered by warranty, Sometimes it's almost better to swallow it and get a new one every now and then, because you got a warranty. Seriously, there's a lot of money going down the tubes with these trucks.
That's what the state does with a lot of their backhoes and their loaders and their motor graders. 5-year plan, and then they trade them back and they get a new one.
That's how ours
are.
are. The graders are that way.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the last time someone calculated the 5-year plan, they didn't do their math. Because on the 5th year, when we needed to roll over and replace the first 2 originally, we didn't have money to buy new and do that. So it was not done well at all. Now we're in a situation that we're in where we haven't bought anything this year. But I do think that at least frees up some money to talk about some of these other purchases that we can do. Yeah.
It's not that a person has to buy something new every year. We don't have to buy
But your buyback rate immediately,
I know.
you don't get what you bargained for.
That's true. That's true.
On the mowing, you think it would be cheaper or better to say contract out the mowing to somebody else or no?
I don't know if you can get it.
In other words, it's worth it to us to buy the better tractors and have you guys still mow.
You don't have to buy new either.
Well, no, not new, but better. Better quality, sure.
Yeah.
But I'm just thinking, because, sometimes you can contract stuff out maybe better, it's easier than you doing it. And that's where we like to.
I don't know if you can do that.
With the liability issue.
Yeah, but you got a lot of in there. Looks like we want to bring somebody from the county.
Well, I think we
Well,
would
it's the
be.
same as like contracting any
the
job.
machinery and the person to do it?
Yeah.
Our machinery.
No, I would
No.
say hire somebody
It would be
there.
totally
But they're
That's something you just have to.
just like
It'll be out of our hands, the less we have to do. The
I can tell you the one guy that mows out of Canopolis Lake, he's had that contract for 4 or 5 years now, and he gets about $45,000 a summer to mow that lake, and it's only on the core side.
I think what you're going to find out the liability issue if somebody mowing your roads. I mean, if somebody bids it, it'd be awful high on them, I would
Well, no,
say.
you'd have to have a bonded company.
Right.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
One day, has any machinery to mow,
Right, I don't want nobody mowing mine in the fall for me. They don't want my snow drifter gonna be. If you mow your road clear out, you don't have snow drifter.
Okay.
That is my opinion.
Whatever you give me, that's good input. In other words,
The first time around, I guess, don't make, really.
that's probably good. Then maybe we should still do it ourselves. Sounds like. Okay, that's good. Yeah.
You can do it when you want it, how you want it.
Right. And you have control over the situation.
Well, and they know where the culvert might be, someone else going in, or if there happens to be a carcinite down, they can get off the mower and put it back up. And there's just a lot.
I have a question for the bridges. Do you have? So we were looking at the budget and we increased our culvert purchasing. Do you have a list? Do you know? You have 3 24-inch culverts that are going here, and you have 48-inch culverts that need to go there. Are you keeping are you keeping track ahead of time of where you want this material?
Somewhat, but it's also kind of as needed. Sometimes you don't always know when a tube's going to blow out or something's going to happen. We usually have a plan of where we're going to put it, same way at bridges or whatever, and then it's just kind of adjusted as we go along, depending on what happens.
So what kind of stock are you keeping? Are you inventorying that stock?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this had in May. Should be getting another load of them in here shortly.
It should be coming.
I think Steve and David and I had a pretty good discussion about these wooden small bridges that need to be replaced. Like he said, we've got the equipment, we can handle by tearing them out, put these bigger 50-inch culverts in. We can put the culverts together. We have equipment to lift the pieces, order a culvert in pieces, piece it together. All right, you never talking about that. I mean, we have the equipment now, man. But,
Were the half round tanks that we split, were those too expensive for what we did with them? I thought those
Not in
were
my
pretty
opinion.
good.
If it's going to be a 30, 40-year fix, not in my opinion.
The only thing I personally don't like about those is you still have to have somebody come in and set.
Well, that's true.
If we have, strictly my opinion, if we have bolt together ones like the half round and the 4 o'clock, we could do that all in-house.
Right.
We wouldn't have to have anybody come set.
And they are the
Now,
same
I'm not
size.
saying they're better or worse or whatever. It's just that would be something we could do on our own.
Right. And you can treat them basically like we did those. I mean, they're the same size, basically.
Right. And we could either pour a slab to the bottom, or we can just pour footings and have dirt on them.
But it's on whatever you wanted to do.
Right. I think it would be easier for the equipment we have instead of, because I don't like having to wait on anybody else or work around anybody else. We just go in there, do it all, and not have to wait for a crane company to come in and just deal with all that.
Right.
It's kind of a hectic deal. Everybody's ever been involved in it.
that's what we discussed too. We do it under, you don't have to pay for $12,000 to come in the crane with a half tanker and set it down.
Now,
That was a circumstance that we deal with too. That's how it had to be.
Yeah, right.
On that, right.
And I don't know if the both together cost. They may start expensive. It's huge to do it.
Not looking on.
So when we were talking about restructuring some of the administration for the department, one of the points I was trying to make at the meetings is that I think it's too much for anyone, I don't care how good you are or how much experience you have, to try to keep track of every culvert and bridge project and every road project. I would like to see someone be dedicated, like the head of the bridge crew, at an elevated position as management that just focuses on that. I mean, we're so behind, and it's just, our county has one of the most water crossings of any county in the whole state. So we're so behind on just keeping culverts cleaned out, replacing the ones that need bigger ones because of the change in the runoff and bridge issues. You know, there's a bridge there west of Sylvan that I've been asked about a lot of times by my constituents, and it's the one that goes from Kiowa over into Russell County. And really, the pillars on that thing are fine. There is nothing wrong with it. And it was suggested to me by prior people to just tear the thing down and build a new one. Well, that's not going to be cost effective.
Can it beat that?
Exactly. That's exactly what it
All right,
is.
here's another little deal. The person that lives across that bridge told me point blank, if we would fix that bridge, we could go across him to get into the Wolf Creek pit.
Yeah.
That would save the crossing.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's double win. So what? So for example, on the bridge, why can't we redeck that?
You could, but in my opinion on it, if you're going to tear the deck off of it, I don't know the cost. I don't have any idea what it would.
You're talking $1 million.
Well, I don't. The whole bridge.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about a multi-million-dollar bridge, what's another, say, $50,000 to put all the piling, and you're good for the next 50, 60 years, instead of just putting a deck on it, and then you still have the limestone pillars, which could cost crossing. Now, that's just my opinion on it, but that's the way.
Well, they don't really have any deterioration right now. I mean, that's the thing. I've been under there.
Well, right, but that's going to deteriorate a lot quicker than if
I guess if you don't
maintain
maintain it and do the tuck pointing like we haven't done. Yeah.
I mean, if you're going to do a $3 million bridge, what's a few more $1,000?
But it's not. But I'm sure that costs for the decade. Isn't that something you can do? Redecade?
Not on that one. That one's too long. We don't have anything that we can reach out and reach out.
But you know that if you could do that, that'd save 2 deals. Fix the bridge and get it to.
Well, that's why I'd like to see someone just dedicated to bridges and culverts, because then they can prioritize the list and only focus on that. I mean, who's calling the shots on where the equipment's going to which, like, let's say 2 blade operators call in at the same time and say, I need gravel on this road, I've had a washout, and I need gravel on this road, because
they've been taking turns. I mean, it's worked out. There hasn't been any problems.
Whichever one's the worst.
Yeah. They just kind of get together and just, work.
So do you call each other, or you just call in the trucking crew, or
We just talk.
Depends on where they try to knock out who's ever in one area.
You coordinate among yourselves, in other words, what needs to be done.
Well,
and you
that's
have
not what we have to do. I mean,
well, that's fine. If that works and it's productive, well, that's fine, I think.
Is that how you've always done it?
So if you got 5
Right.
Say again.
Right, we gotta get that. No, you've been doing a good job on
But I mean, you're not calling in to ask one person here to schedule it for you. You're calling each other. That's what I'm getting at.
well, we've been working through Liz and each other, so it's kind of a triangle where we get it straightened out. And a much other choice. I mean, if you want to keep working, production doing something, why? That's why I say that we're running into the pit problems now, where we're going to haul long ways.
But we have 12 open contracts, so are some of those, we're not hauling anything because there's nothing good in there?
Bolton's not very good at all.
Supposedly that's closed, right? Oldie pit.
It's iron and 230.
I don't know.
Yes.
There's what?
Red Rock, and I think we ought to think about doing that.
Yeah. You don't have any other pits that we could open it up, or somebody knows? Tim, you got some out there?
What's the deal on the pit out south here on 4? We have a concrete.
Did you look that up, Liz?
We're an awkward guy.
How long at least we got on that?
He's long got you.
No, let me think. I called the gal. Somebody was supposed to get that to me. But there is no contract on it.
Oh,
Yeah, see, that's why you don't want to push anything up.
push a lot of gravel up, something you don't have a contract.
Oh yeah, no, that's we don't
And
waste
that is
time.
good gravel
It's
out
good,
there.
yeah.
Is
If
there a
It needs
lot?
fixed.
there's a lot of gravel.
It's an agreement, we're paying them $2 a yard. Just like we're paying anybody, any other bid.
But there's no contract.
No, I think it's,
I would push anything up till you get a contract.
Because it's got good gravel out
for
there.
that or you can stockpile it.
Huh?
Stockpile it.
Liz, you gotta push it up before
Oh, I
you
know.
stockpile.
Yes.
I mean, that's what I'm getting at. You can't go in there and just start loading it out
Sure.
because you'll have crap.
Got clay. There you
Right.
go. Like
You
we
gotta
got.
push it.
And it's got a good blend in
It
it.
does if you get it all pushed up together.
Pea gravel and everything. I mean, it's
But if you can't get a contract on it, I wouldn't push nothing.
You go back to the equipment, just on like that bigger rock that comes out of there. There's an attachment for the front end loader that's like a crusher. You can put that on there. Blake pull that out so you don't have any boulders out along the edge of the road. Pull that out, he can follow right behind, press that, leave it in the windrow. Next blade behind, lay it over.
Yep.
Rock's crushed.
I was also
Instead of
asked,
that grid roller bouncing all over it.
yeah, and what are we doing to pack the gravel besides just running on it?
We've been using the roller on some of it.
What roller?
You got a sheep's foot.
Sheep's foot, yeah.
Is that the preferred
Grid
method?
roller works also.
The sheep's foot?
But when it's dry, you don't want that grip roller. You'll create more trouble than it's worth.
More done.
So did you use the sheep's foot out there when you put gravel?
No, we will pack that with the trucks. I just bring out a lift, then guys will drive over for a couple rounds, and then bring out another one, and just work back and forth that way.
So how do you make a determination between wheel packing it or using the sheep's foot?
Those trucks weighs more than that roller load. So you're basically
But isn't there
they're
something?
splitting the tracks back and forth across that, and you get your tandems working back and forth on that. That'll pack it. It won't punch it in the ground. It's dry as it is. Wouldn't do any good anyway.
And
At
that,
least you're sealing it off.
that had sand under too, so duckwood or anything like the sheep's foot.
Typically, you'd want a
Red roller
roller
on
pack.
Gary out of that,
Yeah.
it laid down great.
yeah.
There
The biggest deal with the grid roller is, like Sheldon, he's not inexperienced, but this machine is difficult to run, and you got to have 80 acres to turn it around because I mean, it's a real hunk. I mean, it don't turn very good. You can't see out of it. So if somebody comes by you and you hit them,
Yeah.
it's cage barred door. I mean, it just, you can ask him. He didn't feel very comfortable running because it's.
Red roller on that red rock. Same thing, man. Get it stopped. It's a
They're
mess.
usually not coming back.
It's just you got to have a lot of places to turn around because it's not easy to turn around. It's got one brake, and you hope that you can turn left because you can slam the brake on and spin her around and go back the other way.
Well, they purchased that Challenger tractor basically to run that. That was going to replace that.
Didn't have enough.
And it don't have enough horsepower to it. I don't know. I was never around a Challenger tractor until we loaded down and it's pretty low horsepower. You know what I mean?
Because I mean, the grid roller does work.
Yeah, they had a bigger tractor.
But you need, but
You just need something a little more modern that you.
User friendly.
Yeah.
More user friendly.
The trouble is, it puts a lot of jerk on the hitch. So you need something that's really strong in the back. You can pull through. Yeah.
We rebuilt
Yeah.
the hitches on the rollers
And the tractor.
and the tractor
Yeah.
It's got
every other year for the last 10 years. You know, just
okay.
Because it does work good. I used it on the Red Rock Road out there on Elk. And then when I laid the gravel from that pit out south, it does work good.
If you want to save your base on dirt, you know, when you're grading it up, that's the tool you want because it's going to pack everything.
Speaking of Red Rock, we have 2 Red Rock pits. And we had a company come in and crush that, you know. There's none of that left.
So we could be piling red rock that needs crushed.
Yeah, there's rock
In both of those pits.
Yeah.
We have some that's piled already.
It just needs crushed.
You know, when we did a little
Yeah.
You eliminate
Yeah.
that grid roll.
Because I got one more mile on help that we did not finish.
To finish.
Needs to be finished.
Okay.
And we can probably do the same at Wolf Creek too.
Crush some of that bigger stuff.
If you figure out something.
Some counties use limestone like Ottawa and Osprey
Yeah.
County. And we have out southwest, there's an old limestone pit where they quarried all these stone posts. What do you guys think?
Osborne County used to pull a grid roller behind their dozer. They'd lay that rock out on the road.
Really?
Now they have their own grind crusher. They do it right in the pit.
What would you think if we get really hard up for material? What do you think about using limestone?
We have.
There's a lot of difference in limestone. You can't use stone posts.
Just going for you, where do you live?
But that's a softer limestone than a stone post.
We hauled out of Osborne County for probably 2-3 weeks.
Yeah, we've hauled out of there.
Well, there's some right in the northwest part of the county up there.
Exactly.
Right there by Steve Snyder's ground up there.
There and then in west of Brick over there.
Yeah.
Well, you got some after a mile going to Gene Jones and a mile going over
No, I meant
Gray
the
Water.
quarry. The quarry we hauled out there.
But they're both about worn out now.
Yeah.
Well, I was curious if if material really gets hard to find, and if we would think about doing
The
limestone.
key would be a crusher, portable crusher to get out and crush it. And if you got that, you can do whatever pace you want to crush it. Of course, it's going to be expensive, but in the long run, it's going to be the cheaper than going to quartzite.
Yeah.
Now, that quartzite pit that Wolf Creek has everything in it that quartzite makes.
Yeah, you can crush
You can make anything out of
road rock.
that if you want.
So I had asked about crushing and mixing and sifting, and they said, we had the engineer there when we talked about it, but they said if you do that on site in the pit, then you have to comply with OSHA, and they have to do an inspection.
MSHA.
Small mine too.
MSHA.
If we could find another way to get
Is that unachievable or unattainable or?
Well, I don't know what it costs when they hired the company to come in and crush the red rock. Yeah.
That's what you'd be better off doing.
They've done a nice job, but it is a cost. I don't know what it was. But, they crushed everything that we had pushed up out there.
What would it cost if we bought our own crusher?
I have no idea what a crusher.
Bob House,
Big dollar.
20 years ago, we could have bought one for $500,000. They said it's probably about 5 times that.
And they expensive keeping one runner at $6.
Yeah. So it probably wouldn't be feasible for us to have.
I think so.
Well, I think it's a lot different crusher, Randy. The quartz for that red rock. That's not near as hard.
Yeah.
Like quartzite rock, which Wolf Creek has that in there.
It's hard, yeah.
It's hard rock. Yeah.
Okay, so don't boo me out of here yet, but I wanted to bring up Mobile 311.
It's fine as long as it works.
I know.
There's just a lot of the area in Lincoln County.
So, but what we were talking about, can you not go ahead and mark your map when you're on your tablet, and when you get back to somewhere with internet connection, won't it upload all the information that you've already put in?
It won't have the GPS.
No, won't have the curtain.
We can take a picture, we can save it, we'll write it there to the computer, and they can save it right off there. So much simple.
So if you do things on your route, you just mark it in, take your pictures,
I can
and
take a picture and bring it in.
When you mark the coordinates, say I'm out at whatever, 120th the next way, and then you can say bring it out here at that manual.
You don't have service. Yeah. And see, my question was, would that remain like then when you got up to it,
it's supposed to. From my understanding of it, it's supposed to.
So I don't know.
It's what? Why? Service-wise. So it's your internet service.
Yeah.
It's through Nextech. It's Nextech.
If we get up by Barnes, we can't get up. I got what I do.
Yeah, I have Nextech, and I have a little better signal than these guys do, but they're just like good to anything. You probably know that.
What do you got now?
Because if it can't pick up the GPS, yeah, you can take a picture of it. Big deal. They don't give you no coordinates.
But can't you come and
Well,
mark
you have to come in here and do that.
But if you did that, say, once a week, just because you knew you had 3 different spots.
Yeah, like we were doing during our time card now, and go in and mark that way.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Because I would like to see the director of the department use that to give us reports, because we don't. You can't just say so-and-so's road and this road and that, and us retain any of that information. But if it's on a map, and the green is stuff you've already done, the yellow is what you're working on, and the red is what's to come in the future, then that makes a lot more sense to us. You see what I'm saying?
The only reason we want that is not trying to micromanage you guys. It's just that if somebody's downtown at the bank and asks me, what the hell is the highway department doing? I can say, well, you're out there working on that. You guys are working culvert over here, putting on new gravel and X-ray and 120th. Then it sounds like we know what the hell we're doing. And then the people down at that coffee shop say, that highway department's really got their act together. That's why we want to know this information. We would like we're organized. That's all. That don't mean I'm going to tell you to go, you got to go grade that road and you got to go haul rock to that place. That ain't what we want. We just want to know what's going on so we would organize.
Like bridges and culverts, back to that.
Yeah.
You could literally have a crew with a backhoe. You're almost talking a year-round job cleaning culverts out. Just cleaning them out.
So that brings me to another question about the routes. Are you responsible to clean them out on your own route, or is the bridge crew supposed
if they get the equipment, they can, or Steve does it. I mean, we have 2 backhoes.
If you got time.
Yeah, but it literally cleaning out was how tremendous.
What are you using to clean through them?
Well, I'm not talking through them. I'm just cleaning the
I know, you're just getting the brush that's all, but yeah.
We've been trying to talk Shelby to climb through them.
The human auger.
I'm just talking the end.
Yeah.
If there's something in, they got to be replaced.
Yeah, there's another one. You got a lot of one calls you have to have on a lot of them just to clean it.
It's all time consuming no matter what way you look at it.
Right, but I'm saying who's leading that charge? Are you doing it for your own route, or are you waiting for the bridge crew to come around, or who's doing? Because that seems like it doesn't get done. Honestly, I'm just gonna say the one by my house hasn't been done in years. I've thought about going down there myself.
You described a lot of them. There's a lot of them that just haven't been done. Yeah.
It's kind of just a hit and miss.
Like you said, you could put one crew on it and have them do that
all year long. I get it.
You know, there's not so much main road, but dirt road. Culvert's 3 foot under the road and covered up. You can't even tell.
So I wonder if that's something we could sub out. Someone to go around.
To check. I mean,
if you got the time and you can go grade up your dirt roads.
You still run into the one call, which is time consuming, whoever.
You never have to go back on that dirt road for a long time.
You have to have culvert, just to clean out culvert, you got to call one.
Yeah,
because that's where
could have a phone line right beside it.
That only lasts so long.
Yeah.
Like 3 days.
Okay.
It'll run
How long does that last?
One call, you can put it 2 weeks out.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Still,
You can
you have 40 of them lined up to do.
And you can do like, you can set up a one call, like I'm not going to start for a week.
Yeah.
And then you can do 2 weeks out of that, so you're covered for 3 weeks. For 30 weeks.
So if we were to look into subbing out something being done, is that what you'd suggest?
Yeah.
It'd be something to think about.
They ain't got time to do
You
what
guys
they
don't
got.
have time to do that.
It's just
Because that's low on the priority list, so it doesn't get done, bottom line. So maybe we could sub it out or either hire another employee or something to do this.
On the resident would be our best option. We have to spend money to
Do what now, Jim? Sorry.
drive the piling on our big bridges, get 3 ready, get some contractor in there, drive the piling.
You mean drive our own piling to save money and sub out with?
We don't have nothing to do with it.
No, but are you saying purchase the equipment we need and do it ourselves? That's what was said earlier.
Subcontract it out.
Well, we've been subbing it out.
3 or 4 bridges at a time.
Yeah, he said get 3 ready.
Yeah. If we had right, well, that's what the program was supposed to help us do, is to determine, okay, the northwest corner has 4 projects going on. If we did sub out a contractor, then they can come in and they don't have to travel everywhere. All of our equipment goes there, and it doesn't cross the county 6 times in a week. I mean, that's the only reason that then I started suggesting we have a map, like a visualization of it, because you guys all know where you're talking about when you say that, but that doesn't mean everything to anyone else.
Well, we kind of handled it like firemen. We run over here.
Right, it's called being reactive instead of proactive. Right.
But it's also called micromanaging. Like, these guys know what they have to do, and they're going out to do it.
Sometimes
And
you
to
don't get
me,
to do it.
I mean, okay, are they not all here? I mean, I'm just saying, they're all here to do a job, and they know what they're doing every day by the heads of the department or what have you. And, you know, I'm telling you what, I've been getting your guys' little list now for what, 4 weeks? And it's not a problem, but it kind of is a pain in the butt when they know what they're doing anyway. But you do have a record. But then when you're talking, throwing all the culverts in there to hand you a list, if we just had a list and say, these are the culverts that need worked on, let them work on it. The whole thing of it is what people in this room do not see, and I'm talking these guys included, except some of them that have been coming in and out of there. There is a method to the madness. Honest to God, just like any job. And they do know what needs to be done. Stephen has a list. There are gravel roads. Most of these blade guys know what roads are to be graveled. The truck drivers are going off of what the blade guys, we try to do it in certain areas that make sense. But what nobody sees is that everything that comes out of that office, that's what you're not seeing the whole picture of. And when you're talking about micromanaging it down to give you a list of every stinking little culvert, I don't even know how many culverts we have in this county. They're hundreds. Literally hundreds. I'm just saying, if we made a list of the 1,000 culverts in this town, you would be so overwhelmed. But Stephen has been writing down on the back of the map, keeping track, because all of that comes back to reporting, at the end of the year. It just does. And I know that makes you mad. I'm sorry. I don't want to tell you mad. Oh, I thought maybe you were mad that I said that or interrupted. Sorry. But I'm just saying.
I didn't hear anything of what you're saying coming out of them. They were all just explaining what they have done. We were talking about putting it in a system.
I'm just saying.
Putting all the information in a system is not micromanaging. It's consolidating. It's efficiency. It's upping with the times. I mean, there's a way to keep track of information other than the way it's always been done. And so that's why the implementation of 311.
And you know what? And sometimes the way it's been done sometimes works better for a lot of the old school people that are sitting in here now.
Liz, I find that interesting because about half of the evaluations said that they don't get daily work orders, and that was a concern. So we'll just leave it at that.
Well, the evaluations were all wrong.
And I wouldn't know that because I wasn't made privy to those. So
well, I'm talking about the self-evaluation. What everybody wrote for themselves. A lot of the comments were about not having work orders. So that's just part of it.
And that's saying two different things because it's not a work order on a piece of paper, but they get it every day. That's a work order, just not on paper.
The what was torn up?
Culverts, they don't just sit there. They get torn up, spread open, and they get
run
over by heavy equipment.
Some semis with their equipment, don't they?
Yeah. Same with the signs. I know you guys have put up signs and they're knocked down the next day. I know.
We have to jump around and fix the culverts.
Now, brand new bridge out here's got the signs all bent over. Hadn't even been there 6 months. It's they're already bent over there.
I guess what we need to find out is, do all of you guys want a piece of paper that tells you what you're doing every day? I mean, it can be done.
We haven't had a word per se, no. It was more just word of mouth.
And
if you want a piece of paper,
to do something, 15 minutes later, that may change.
But doesn't that go back?
You can't go off that work order every day. You can't. You may send me to
the blade guys in
you
their
did.
mouth.
You sent me to road for a bit. That morning, by afternoon, I was at Wolf Creek.
They don't think of themselves.
Right.
Based on, you might have a breakdown, that might rain.
Like, yeah,
or the
all
mowing,
that stuff.
or the
If you
trees.
want a piece of paper,
No, I mean, no, I'm just saying, doesn't that go back to his job, that he relays that to the other guys? Because Blake guy's already reported the problem. Now it's his job to go out and disperse the guys where they need to go.
but and they do that. It's just not on a piece of paper.
Right, it's not a word.
It's not on a piece of paper. That is being done.
Yeah, it's a verb.
Well, they don't need a piece of paper if it's in the program, is what I'm getting at. The program keeps track. So your red flagged culvert, maybe it's been red flagged for 3 weeks, and when you ask about it again, they say, hey, I had 4 in front of you. See them there? That's just how you communicate, is so that you know what's coming, that you know what to expect a little bit, rather than having this reactionary thing where a disaster strikes and then you're trying to respond to it. You kind of know where you are in queue. Which helps us, it's like Randy was saying earlier, when someone's asking what you're doing, it's not just that. I got asked before the meeting today to stop over and look at an intersection, so I did. And all the landowners were there, so I wanted to do it when they were there. And to me, in my eye, it's not really, nothing's washed out completely. You can get through there, you can get your equipment through there. It's not really an emergency. Of course, every landowner feels like their space is the priority. Okay?
But again, was that called in to the office? I wonder.
They've already talked to certain people on that route. I don't think it was called into you yet.
Exactly. Therefore, that is the problem. If people are not coming into this office and it's not being written down somewhere, then it is a cluster. So they may have talked to the Blade guy, but the Blade guy isn't relaying it here. So how does anybody here know that that Blade guy is going to need gravel to make sure that there is a budget for it? To make sure that is one thing that LaDonna Briner was saying in that meeting, that everything should go through the paving department heads. And if it's not, but then it becomes a freaking nightmare.
But again, that goes back to the blade route. If you're responsible for your route, you talk to the landowners and you talk to people who have concerns. You know your own route, and you're going to say, well, this isn't a priority. I have this to do 3 miles away, and then we'll get to that. And so, like Bobby was just saying, when you report that in, and someone's going to schedule the gravel trucks for you, that would be your higher up. But if it goes into the system, everybody's going to know it's there. If I mark an X on the site and you guys can all open the picture and see it, then you know it's there.
But then everybody needs to be doing it the same way, because when they were all turned loose with the tablets, you were getting freaking, there is a rock out placed on the road. There is a rock in the ditch that shouldn't be there. It became a nightmare. There ought to be then some sort of a list made that says, okay, number 1 is this road needs to be reshaped. So they put down the corners of that road and hit number 1, whatever. Then everybody's consistent in what they're doing.
My thought was, when the director comes in, that he has direct contact with all 10 blades. Okay, so there's your one line of communication. And this is hypothetical.
We're going to have a meeting on with a new person.
Huh?
When we get a new person, we're going to have a meeting with them.
Oh, yeah. I was just laying out my thoughts as far as structuring it. All 10 blade routes, if you guys know everything that's going on in your route, you should be in direct contact with the director.
When you're talking with them landowners, talk about no-kill farming, which is half of our problem.
I know.
With the
I know.
Yes, it is.
They complain about the drainage and the ground.
I know.
All the way up the edge of the.
I know.
I just saw a cornfield paved that way.
I know. Well, and we did send out a notice last year. I don't know that it helped, but we did send out a public notice, but that should be on the director too, to kind of go to that particular landowner or send a letter and send it out and just say, we know that this road or whatever.
Another part of that issue when you farm in the edge of the ditch is taxes.
What's that?
The other part of that when you farm in the edge of the road is taxes. The appraiser has to go out and reassess the taxes. You have to pay taxes on that new farmland that you will acquire. The FSA will also cut you out of your farm allocation because you have increased the size of that farm that long you have. And so there's a lot of things that gets reported that's going to bite those guys in the rear end. All of this discussion is great, except when we get the new department head in here, it's going to be his department. He's organizing the way he sees fit. We're not going to organize. We're not going to tell him how to do it. We're going to tell him what we would like him to report to us, and he's going to report to the commissioners what he thinks is important. And if we don't like it, we're going to negotiate with him. But we're not going to come out, and we're not going to have you fill out 1,000 reports on phones. Counterproductive. We're not going to have a map with a whole bunch of red X's on that, so some landowner can say, well, I got a red X. Well, that's not our job, and it's not your job. It's the department head's job to say which one of those red X's is important and put them in order. And he's going to be in charge of this place. How he organizes, we have no idea. We may all be getting D-handle shovels and starter ropes. Who knows? But it's not our job to tell him how to run his business. It's his job. So a lot of the stuff we've said in here, you're going to have to present that to him because that's going to assist him or her, the case may be, in putting his job together and figuring out how he's going to make this county work. And after saying that, I need to remind you that we probably ought to adjourn and go interview them.
One question wasn't answered. The raises. Push it outside. What's the deal on it?
We're going to talk about that. Generally, we are in favor of it. But you know, we have another act, and that's called the damn budget, taxes we got. I will say that we're all in favor of it.
Well, you made a comment about the evaluation. What did you mean? Yeah.
The man that wrote our evaluation isn't here. You can talk to him anyway and say, what did we do wrong?
We're looking,
as far as I'm concerned.
we recognize that this department probably works harder than any other department. Out there actually doing things, getting dirty. And you should have a chance.
Because he couldn't defend himself.
I will assure you that we're going to do everything we can to support everybody.
It was told us that we had a 50-cent raise allocated. That was over a year.
We just started the budget.
Well, that was the budget before. And we got one quarter.
They don't.
The other one's gone.
Can I read this?
The other one gone. The other quarter gone.
No, I'm going to read this to you of what. Go ahead.
Liz has got some stuff here.
I am going to read this of what I presented to the commissioners today for you guys. As acting director for the Lincoln County Highway Department, I would like to address the issue of raises for the employees. I was not made privy to the evaluations as Bob and Michael prepared and reviewed them with the employees. Jesse prepared only a few, and I did help him on one because he had never submitted an evaluation before. I feel that the best way to handle this department is to give all employees the 25-cent increase and start over fresh with the new department heads. There are too many interpretations of the evaluations given at this point. All departments of Lincoln County need to be using the same forms or at least discuss the various forms as a group prior to issuing the evaluations so that everyone is on the same page. Again, I am submitting this notice to you, the commissioners, with the recommendation of the full 25 cents to be given to the Highway Department employees. Thank you for your consideration. Now, what they do with it, I guess, is their choice.
And we already received that. And again, we are going to
got nothing
consider.
against evaluations. Don't take what I said. It's those evaluations. They should be helpful to everyone. But they are helpful to us because we can't talk to Bob and say, what did we do wrong? You see what I mean? We can't ask him. He's not here.
Again, when your new chief comes in here, you have your first meeting, you need to take some of these 3x5 cards and make your notes out so you don't skip some of the issues you want to talk about.
Well done.
All right?
What we've been talking about.
Be organized with your discussion. Have all your issues laid out. Yes, sir.
Real quick, buddy, I want to talk about our leave policy. I go to regular doctor's appointments, regular dentist appointments, and to take my vacation time to go to the doctor's appointment, I don't understand why we can't use sick leave for that.
Okay.
Because, you know, that's part of sick leave, you know, and you're taking away from my family vacation time if that happens.
I'll explain.
Or use three annual days to get extended leave. You know,
Okay.
I don't understand.
I'll explain it. So, and I'd like to change this in the handbook because it is confusing to a lot of people, and I think some of you were probably here longer ago when it was separated. But everything you get is PTO, paid time off. So when you work for the month, you accumulate 12 hours, and that it does not matter what you use it for. There's no difference between sick and vacation. None. It's all PTO. Does everyone understand that?
What's the extended sick leave?
Extended sickness is when you have, let's say you have to have a kidney taken out or something, okay? You can use your sick leave, you can use your own leave, but when you use the extended illness, it's mostly because you personally, and sometimes the commission has allowed it to extend to your family members, but it's when after you use 3 days, it's 3 days, right? Then you can tap into that. That is only for when you actually have something, you're going to be hospitalized, or you know you're going to be out of work with a doctor's note, or your immediate family is going to be out. Then you use your first 3 days of your own time, then you can use that. That's only for that. It's not part of your accumulated time off.
But
It is
aren't you
accumulated.
accruing that as you go?
Yeah, but it's not.
You are accruing it, but it's not your benefit. No offense, guys, but where do you go that you get 3 weeks of vacation a year? It's vacation in 6
City.
Where?
Yeah, government.
Yeah.
Government agencies. Any other employer isn't going to give you anything.
No, wait a
After
minute.
you
Oh,
work
no, I
After
disagree.
you work 5 years, you get 1 week. maybe two.
Baloney. The last place I worked at, I got a day and a half sick leave and a day and a half vacation.
We're
every month.
35 years
And you
from
had
on.
the difference between vacation and sick days.
35
so don't
years
tell me
from
people
Swan
don't do
Lake.
it
Wait a
because
minute,
you're
a
still.
day and a half and a day and a half is only 3 days. You're still accumulating 12 hours here every
That's
month.
12 hours. That ain't a day and a half and a day and a half. That's two 12 hours you're accumulating, not one. You're not giving us enough time. They give you a day and a half vacation and a day and a half sick leave in 1 month.
Where did
That's
you work?
24 hours.
Where did you work?
Midway Co-op, and if you want to call them and find out, they still do it.
Well, but the point is the policy here. I'm telling you that PTO, I'm going to change the wording because it's paid time off. It doesn't matter if you stay home with your grandkids or you go to the pool or you are sick hacking up a lung. It's all PTO. And you accumulate it monthly and you do accumulate extended sick leave. But extended sick leave is supposed to be for special circumstances where you're in the hospital and you can't just go back to work. It wasn't a cold. Or your son or your daughter is in a deathly ill situation and you want to stay home with them and you're still guaranteed your job and your paycheck. Does that make sense?
But then you're not giving enough hours, is all I'm going to say.
12 per month.
You're not giving enough hours. You're not.
Well, the whole reason that you get longevity pay is so that you don't just keep accumulating weeks and weeks and weeks where then we're paying you to be on vacation 2 months out of the year.
Well, you can't do that.
No, you can
do that
carry
anyway,
80 hours.
You can only carry 80 hours over.
Right.
That's why there's longevity
That's what
pay.
they did on vacation at Midway Co-op. But your sick leave just kept accumulating. They never paid you for a sick leave when you left. They paid you for vacation. But you had 80 hours, and you have 80 hours here. So
Right.
you couldn't have 2 months vacation every year.
Yes, I'm saying that's the policy. 80 hours rollover and extended illness after 3 days and then longevity pay. So for every year you're accumulating that bonus pay.
You're paying enough hours.
With the state of Kansas, the district court in Carolina, and I'm sure, I don't know, you were with the city,
Yeah.
probably affected Emmett. But we have a top out on our time. And so, like, I want to say it was like 280 hours or something.
So many years.
A year. Or so many years. You did not have to use it, and you didn't lose it until you hit that top out time. The reason why, let's explain, the reason why they topped it out at 80 hours is because we owed the employees over $300,000 in the year 2000. We couldn't, so the cash basis law says you cannot budget or spend if you don't have the authority to do so. So we couldn't pay out you employees because we didn't have the budget to do so, or we would have had to raise the taxes by the $300,000 and some $1,000. So that's where the 80 came in. Then the longevity became an issue because some of you 40-year employees that were getting an extra day for every 5 years of service, and you couldn't get it used down. You could not take off 4 weeks during the calendar year, or at least you didn't feel like you could take off 4 weeks during the calendar year. So then they come in and said, we're losing all of our time. So then that's when the commissioners said longevity time.
Well, it isn't there. You're getting it in money instead of hours, is what she's saying. saying.
There, you're getting it in your longevity, or it would be.
That's not an equal trade, though.
And I got nothing wrong with 80 hours.
Why is it not an equal trade? If you've been here for 5 years and you accrue 1 day of vacation, but instead of us giving you the vacation, we're paying you. How is
Most
that
other
not?
places
one
that
day
don't
for
have
5 years.
PTO, that have it still separated into sick time and vacation
That's
time,
not true.
they'll allow your rate to go up of how much you accumulate per month for both of them. Now, when you combine that all together the same way as your PTO, you gain a lot more that way than what you're doing now here with the PTO. Because you're not exchanging at an equal rate. You just merged into one and then knocked it down. That's not the same.
And I got no.
But that's actually a benefit to anyone who's not sick the full
But I
time.
agree with that. I'm just saying what he's saying is correct too. It's not the same exchange.
If you're not sick all year and you can't use any sick leave because you don't have a doctor's excuse, you still get to take those days off because it's PTO. So it's, I mean, it's both ways.
I agree with that, but you're not giving enough hours compared to a lot of people. You're not. You're about 8 hours short.
Well, what I'm saying, or 8 hours a year.
8 hours a month. Sure.
No, what I'm saying is there's a top out on vacation time with the state of Kansas. And I think it's 240 or 280 hours. I don't even remember. But everybody knows when you get close to that, you gotta start taking some time off. So all I'm saying is people that have been there for 20 years that are they're never sick, you cannot get your sick time, but they would walk away with a good paycheck off their sick leave, or vacation time. Not sick leave, but the vacation time.
That's exactly what I said. You can't get paid for your sick time. So you may as well be able to use your sick time.
What I'm saying
you don't get paid for your sick time
is for
anyway.
somebody like me who has a hard time coming up with time off to use those hours to get it down to 80. I wish I could carry him over to a certain degree. And, you know.
Marvin, we had to pay him.
Right.
He had to take an IOU.
We can't physically afford that because we can't predict in our budget what each of you are going to do. We have to have the money at the end of the year.
I don't have a problem with holding the 80 hours off, you know.
No, I don't either.
But are we not? That doesn't make too much sense, I guess. But because
Well, I don't like it. If I fall over with a heart attack now and go to the hospital, first 3 days in the hospital, hell, I'm on vacation.
First 24
That ain't right.
First 24 hours.
That's what I'm saying. You need to separate that and give 8 hours. You're giving us 4 hours on our extended and 12 hours on our vacation. Most places are giving you 12. That's not what you're doing.
Well, when I see what he is saying, that would be a circumstance, my God, if, God forbid,
Fall over with a heart attack.
exactly, you have to use your vacation. Maybe that ought to exclude, like, hospital time or circumstance or whatever, I don't know. Yeah. I just have a hard time using my damn days.
Have you recessed?
Totally burned down all their hours and they had nothing to live on. And then they had sick period. It helped me.
And I think overall, everybody appreciates the time.
Do you guys have any more comments or questions?
And 40 hours. I'm going to recess and then go back over to 40 hours of no pay.
Yeah, no, thank you. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's Mr. Gableman. Honestly, he did that personally, so. And thank you guys for sticking through while there are all these changes. I know it's not frustrating. I will recess until we get back over to the commission room in the courthouse.